What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, homie? I fell asleep and I just sent out links.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna finish up what I'm doing here, and then I'll hop on.
It sounds like you fell asleep too.
Oh, yeah, I did fall asleep, and I'm really sick. Like, it sucks, man. I'm tired of this.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll be on. I heard the link come across. Just give me like 10 minutes, and I'll be on.
Okay, you're good, dude. You're good.
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, bye. Well. How's it going, everybody? Sorry, I took a nap because I got home from doing stuff at the gym after I did Matt's show earlier, and I got some food and I felt really good. And then laying down felt like a good idea after I set up the chat, and I had like an hour left. Actually, I had like almost 2 hours until the chat. And I was just a little tuckered out, I guess. Jeez, OP. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm late. I'm disheveled now. I'm drinking iced tea to wake up. Because apparently I was fucking tired, man. You ever do that? You take that pre I gotta do stuff nap, and then you wake up late for what you
Yes.
Well, that's where we're at right now, boys. I hope everyone's doing good out there, though. Welcome to the show. What's up, Ohio? How you doing, man?
I'm semi-high right now. My tooth was hurting earlier, so I took one of the THC gummies.
Your tooth was hurting?
Yeah, it needs to get fixed because it cracked out earlier this month.
Your tooth chipped out?
Yeah, there's a little chip that came out of it. Now it's been just hurting. I just haven't been able to find a dentist that takes my insurance. Shows what it is.
Yeah, man, fucking dealing with tooth stuff is no fun. I know that. I've had fucking straight up knee surgery before, and let me tell you, that wasn't very, very fun. It hurt really, really, really bad, but because the pain was all the way down in my knee, and I live all the way up here in my head, I could kind of separate myself from the knee pain, if that makes sense, you know? Versus when I had a tooth that I ended up needing a root canal on. It's actually the only tooth I'm missing in my entire mouth. I was eating some Korean barbecue, and the twice cooked pork decided that it would pack its way into my tooth a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and then right through the middle of it. Because I'll back up. I had a cavity. See, I'm tired. I had a cavity that had a filling in it, and the filling came out, and I didn't know. And when I would eat food, it would just get packed with fucking stuff, and wouldn't really realize what was going on. And then, yeah, it was food getting packed into that cavity hole. And then the pork got packed in there, and it fucking busted through the fucking tooth, dude. And that was like instant pain. That was like, oh God, we have a problem. And it only got worse and worse and worse. It did not get better. What's up, Leo?
What's good?
Sorry, I'm trying to drink I'm chugging tea to wake up, man. I fucking took a nap by accident.
Shit, I was falling asleep myself.
Felt good. Let me tell you, I needed it. I needed a fucking nap, but yeah, I'm fucking tired now. My brain's a little slow drinking some tea.
Have you ever tried the V8 Energy?
The what energy?
V8 Energy. It's one of the new drinks on the market now.
Yeah, I've seen those on the shelf. I haven't tried them though. I'm like, man, tomato juice needs to stay tomato juice. I don't need a fucking energy.
Well, these ones aren't tomato juice. I got some the other day. One is strawberry banana, and the other one was orange pineapple, which was not that great at room temperature, and it wasn't that great at cold temperature either. So, but the strawberry one was good though.
Dino says same thing happened to me, but at Little Caesars Pizza busted the whole side of my molar. Yeah, and when that happens, you bust into the quick of your tooth. like, first of all, that's like really painful because that's where all the nerves are.
Mm-hmm.
But second of all, that's like your body has that shit walled off for a reason. It needs to be not infected. And if you have a hole in your tooth that goes straight to the quick, it gets infected. And then that shit hurts worse and worse. And like, bro, it's like you have a clock in your mouth going off, counting down to like get the fuck to a dentist.
Did you ever hear the story of Little Caesars?
No, the story of Little Caesars? I have not.
Yeah, apparently, I guess the guy that created the pizza brand was a military vet of some kind, and his wife used to call him Little Caesar for obvious sexual reasons, and that's pretty much what the mascot is. It's just a dick.
Well, let's pull that up.
Pizza.
I just want the logo. Can I just have the logo? There we go. All right. Screen share the logo. I mean, I can see it kind of. A little dicky on the end right there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So they try to get him again, boys. They tried again to get the president for the third fucking time that we know about anyway. How many other times have they tried to, and it was already like foiled, no point of even talking about it? I don't know, man.
Well, there was actually a fourth time with Iran.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Hold on, let me go back to the bottom here. We'll start from the bottom and we'll go up this time. All right, this is about where we left off. Does anyone remember the theme song from MASH when they were a kid? When you were a little kid, you heard the theme song from MASH playing? And I always knew... Yeah, that's the one. I always knew it was time for bed.
Time for bed.
Yeah. I don't know. I've still never watched the show. I think I've watched like parts of a couple of episodes, but I could never get into it because this was before my time. This is, this is before Honda was interested in this type of shows. And when I was a kid, it seemed like it was for adults. So I didn't watch it.
The earliest seasons are good. It's the later seasons, they start to get all preachy and shit. That's when it just starts to go downhill.
Well, it also went on like 7 seasons longer than the actual war did.
Right.
That's funny. Well, I know there's the one guy, Radio, I think. I forget his name.
Radar.
One of the Radar, that's what it is. Yeah. Dress in a woman's dress because at the time that was like enough to be like, oh, this guy's insane.
That was Radar.
We can't put him on the front line. Here,
that
keep
was
him
Radar.
Oh, what was his name?
Shit. Because like Radar was the nerdy one from Radar was the nerdy one. The other one with the dress is fuck. I can't remember his name.
Anybody out in the chat? What was the guy? What was the dude who dressed in a dress from fucking MASH?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
That one right there is Radar.
That's Radar.
Klinger. Yeah.
Klinger.
W. Helper said it. Yep. It's Klinger.
Was Radar Costanza? I mean, he kind of looks like Costanza, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
He's not, though.
Just with a full head of hair, I think. Yeah.
Like a young, skinny Costanza.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably the grandfather.
Yeah, it's like Costanza's fucking
the father,
his gay cousin or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So James O'Keefe just had all of his firearms confiscated by the police. Apparently there was someone who, and I don't know the whole story on this. I only kind of know. There was someone who did a protective order against him. And since the courts only hear one side of the story. They don't need to hear the other side. And then they like pound the gavel and act. Someone apparently lied about him or something. I'm not sure what the exact story is, but the police and the judge, the court system was like, oh, you need protection from James O'Keefe. Got it. And then pounded the gavel and went to his house and confiscated all of his guns because, you know, you have a Second Amendment right in this country and all.
So should you, don't want to get nobody away, but should you keep some of your guns somewhere else and not in your home?
I have no comment.
I'm not saying you personally do it. I'm just saying, should you?
If a guy was worried that, you know, perhaps there were some sort of red flag laws or something in his state, that he might have an intermediary to give perhaps one or two pieces of material to hold on to for you, would be a good idea. I would say probably a good idea.
Hypothetically speaking.
Right.
Yes, of course. Of course.
I would support that hypothetically.
Right.
Hypothetically. So one of the oldest churches in New York City is currently up in flames, or I guess this was from April 23rd. I doubt it's still in flames. It's been 5 days since then.
Yeah, you never know.
First Reformed Church of Astoria was established in 1839. So this church has been sitting there from 1839 to now in New York City. And since a bunch of dirty fucking child fucking goddamn goat fucking stupid fucking third world Muslims got let into our country, they like to do things like set churches on fire. Isn't that weird? Oh, but if, you know, you happen to like set fire to a Muslim mosque, I guarantee you they'd be using every fucking resource and CCTV tracking AI program, fucking Palantir, fucking, what's the name? The flock cameras. They'd be doing everything, bro, to get you. They'd be doing all the things. But, you know, since it's a church and it was probably a Muslim and they all look alike and, you know, it's really hard to tell the difference. But, and then, you know, they walk into groups. They sand people to always walk in single file to hide their numbers, you know, like all that stuff. Get anyone catch the Star Wars? So, yeah, here's more pictures of the church. This is after it's out.
I ain't seen shit.
My question is, how long are we going to put up with this double standard? I mean, I realize it takes time. We got Trump in his administration is, you know, he's ruling all the agencies and shit. I understand it takes time because there's a lot of rot from the leftards infiltrating all that. But how long are we as a people going to put up with this crap before we demand an end to this double standard?
Well, it's New York, so probably forever now.
Well, I think the other problem is, like, with our side, is that while we're in power, while things are going good, at least while we don't have to fight so hard for things, we tend to be, like, at work. We tend to be, like, raising our kids. We tend to be, like, maintaining our properties and doing things that humans have to do, that have things and have lives and have businesses and have jobs and children. Tend to not have time to go to things like rallies or to do things like LARP around wearing fucking costumes so that you can have the fucking front page of the paper with your group of people that you went to high school with and were in band together or whatever. And you're like rekindling the fucking old days because none of you had children. And you're like, oh, we used to be on the theater team together. And so we should get together and practice things like we used to, because that's all it is. It's all LARPing. It's all fucking pretend. It's all a fucking show. None of it's actually fucking real, because if it was real, you'd be able to tell it was fucking real. And you'd say, wow, man, that's fucking real, because it's fucking not. It's not. None of this shit is fucking not. I'm not talking about the churches burning down, but I'm talking about when these leftist people get together and they have these protests where they're wearing like fucking pussy fucking hats or whatever the shit is, dude. Like, you're not oppressed. You have all of the time and the money in the world to sit around and complain about things. Like, shut the fuck up. If you actually were oppressed, if you actually had something that you had fucking gone through, you probably wouldn't be on the street wearing a pussy hat. You'd be dealing with the bullshit that you've had to deal with in life. Because that's how it works, dude. Anyway.
Or more recently, those dumbass Handmaid's Tale outfits. Which is
or the
ironic.
gay frog outfits that they appropriated. They culturally appropriated those gay frog outfits.
To become the gayest frogs.
Breaking: the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention and State Oversight Committee just gave Ilhan Omar a May 5th deadline to produce documents relating to her involvement in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme.
The first thing out of her mouth, I'll probably be talking about World War XI.
I don't have much hope in that investigation, like getting her actually charged with anything, because they have enough on her right now to investigate her for immigration fraud, which would nullify her American citizenship.
I mean, whatever they got to do, bro. If they got to fucking interpret the laws in a way to get her, interpret the laws in that way. Get her. If you got to do an investigation to get all the information together, all the ducks in a row so that she can nail her ass to the wall, fucking investigate, bro. Get that shit done. Whatever it is that you got to do. You got to remove the red tape. Here's some scissors. Start cutting. You know, that's where I'm at with this shit. Anyway, just look at her face, man. It makes you want to fucking poke those little fucking beady eyes out. Fucking
You
inbred
realize
ass
she
bitch.
was a child soldier when Black Hawk Down happened, right? Her family was actually some of the people. Her father specifically was one of the military general guys that was in power at the time, and that's why they fled Somalia.
Man, they really did good for themselves, didn't they? Coming over here and running for office and getting power and fucking gaslighting everybody and lying to the American people while funding fucking Somalian pirates running fucking daycare centers in Minneapolis while you run shade for them. Wow, that's a great scheme, dude. Why don't we go to like other countries and do this shit? Oh, that's right. Because no other country would allow this shit to happen. We're the only fucking idiots on the face of the planet with retarded leftists arguing to continue these fucking goddamn programs.
And Western Europe, them too.
Yeah, I'm sure they got some of that going on, to be honest.
What do you think our founders would say if you told them that we had third world, semi-literate, fucking woman elected to the United States Congress who's basically an Islamo socialist?
I don't think they would have words. They would just be like, what?
They'd be like, where's the tar? Where's the feathers? Where's the gallows?
Seriously. And I think it's past that point where like tar and feather would be the answer. Like, man, we were at that point like 25 years ago. Like, what point are we at now? It's like burn the whole thing down and start over. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's burn down to the founding pillars and start from the U.S. Constitution again.
Oh,
Bill of Rights.
What word was it on Matt's channel you was trying to say? Can't remember.
People who annoy you.
Okay.
Starts with an N. There's 2 G's.
I know what the word is. You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Naggers.
That's what it is. Okay.
No president has ever been targeted for assassination 3 times. The level of political violence from the left is historic and unprecedented. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this in this country, where we have so many people who have so little idea about what's going on and yet are violently enforcing the things that they don't understand. It's amazing in a way. And they continue to, like, I think Hakeem Jeffries went on TV after all of this stuff, and he was like, what? Trump is a fascist. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You know, and like fucking CNN goes on. They're like, well, I know that we called him a fascist and Hitler and a Nazi and that anything should be done to stop him, but how could people do this? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, because they were in the ballroom when it happened. They're like, oh, they were targeting free speech. They were trying to shut down the First Amendment. Like, no, you fucking daft cunt. No. Stop lying. It's not about you. They were trying to kill the dude who did it was trying to go in and rush past security so that he could target Trump officials. And if he could have gotten Trump, that would have been like the number one target. But he wasn't able to. And he wasn't able to because there was security, not because fucking media was the target and like whatever the fuck. And have you heard the theories about like, well, the reason that this happened was because Trump needs his ballroom. So they set up a false flag, you see, so that Trump could get his ballroom. Have you guys seen this?
Yes.
I have.
Yeah,
I think it's more in line with the fact that like 14 hours after it happened, he came out and was like, we need FISA spying. Like that's a more logical solution at this point of why it potentially may have been a psyop.
He's already got the ballroom funded, I thought.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is exactly with that. I think it needed some sort of congressional approval, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the deal is exactly. I thought he had it funded too, to be honest. I thought they were already building it. I thought that shit was already a done fucking deal, and I don't know why all of a sudden there's like talk about the fucking the ballroom as if it wasn't a done deal. Like, anyone can explain that? I can't. I don't know.
Pretty sure
There
it
was
is
some kind
already
of
a done
weird
deal.
court ruling or something there with it, but I know it was supposed to be, I believe it was mega donor funded by his like people or whatever. I think it was never money needed by the U.S. government or anything like that. It was always money from like billionaires and stuff like that. What it is.
Well, regardless, there's retarded fucking conspiracy theories coming from the left who are trying to cope, who are trying to obfuscate from the fact that they are directly attributable to this person and others who have tried to kill Trump in the past. Their motives, their thinking, their rationale all make sense if you look at it from that point of view, in which Trump is in fact some sort of fucking Hitler type person, right? Because what would you do to stop Hitler? Would you strangle baby Hitler with his own umbilical cord in the fucking preemie ward? Of course you would. Of course. Is strangling babies with their umbilical cord a bad thing? Yeah, unless it's fucking Hitler, right? But then here, let's just watch this. This will make my point for me. We got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to watch. Go ahead.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there is unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. So even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers.
Real quick, the white man, the right-wing leaning white man being the biggest terror threat in the United States, funded by the SPLC.
He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
I even like Johnny Depp.
Look, his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring
Doesn't
our
it just like make your blood boil?
are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
How many people have died because of that rhetoric in America so far?
A lot. Specifically, the gunshots at the end of that video were when Aaron J. Danielson was killed in Portland.
Or the guy in Pennsylvania, the firefighter at the Trump rally who got hit with the stray, who fucking died. Or Ashley Babbitt, you know, the way that she died and the way that the left celebrated it and fucking threw it in everyone's face. And, you know, like it was an unarmed woman who was a threat to nobody, a physical threat to 0 people at the time that she was shot in the neck by a federal officer who previously had left his gun in a bathroom inside of Washington, D.C. in some building. I forget exactly what the story is behind that, but he'd been previously in trouble for leaving his fucking pistol in a fucking stall. Mm-hmm. Shoots Ashley Babbitt in the neck in a way that if it were like a white cop with a black assailant during BLM, the entire country would be on fire. But that's not the way it went down because we're not like that. Our side is not like that. We're not fucking violent, right? Even like January 6th, even the day that everyone points at and they say how terrible it was and how awful, you know, the right wing is. And they did this on January 6th and they showed up to the Capitol and they tried to overthrow the I don't even know what they say, right? Exactly. But it's a big deal, you know?
Worse than 9/11.
How many of them brought guns? How many of the most powerful right-wing terrorist organization that the government has to fight against? And oh my God, the whites, it's the whites, right? How many guns did the whites bring to the overthrow of the government party?
0.
I think there was one dude who got a ticket, who got in trouble for it. He didn't get a ticket; he got arrested. But of the people who got arrested, there was one person who had a gun. Does that sound like a fucking revolution?
Two people.
Oh, 2. I'm sorry. I'm 100% off.
Okay, but was those 2 people actually protesters or agents?
Well, let's grant that they were protesters. Let's grant that they were organized and working together. Both of them with both of their guns. They were working. All the people who had guns that day were working together to overthrow the government. Is 2 people with guns enough to overthrow the U.S. government?
No.
The thing is, if they had wanted to,
France,
with that
maybe,
many people,
but not U.S. government.
if we had wanted to do that, what they claim we were trying to do, well, I say we, our side, I wasn't there. With that many people, as many right wingers have guns, they probably could have. You know what I mean? It would have been.
Right. If there was an actual effort, if there was a concerted, organized effort to go to the Capitol with that many people on January 6th, 100%, they could have occupied the entire Capitol, every major building that had any kind of governmental anything going on inside of it would have had 100 dudes with guns inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be nothing they could do. But that's not what we did, because that's not why we were there. And if you notice, all of the coverage of January 6th, how many times have you seen CNN pull up a person who was charged on January 6th with crimes and ask them for their side of the story?
Hmm.
Wasn't that weird?
Yeah.
How they have never done that? How in the history of January 6th, CNN, ABC, NBC, Fox News has probably done it. But like all of these left-wing organizations that are mainstream media fucking tell people what to think, propagandist organizations, because people can't think for themselves anymore. How many of them had a Trump supporter on and asked them why they were there on January 6th? Zero. Not one. Ever. Because they would have been told the truth. We weren't there to overthrow the government. We were there to ensure that they fucking counted the votes correctly and that they were going to look at the evidence of all of the chicanery and bullshit that happened on that election night, which, as time goes on, it seems is more and more and more likely that we're correct about. That there was fucking chicanery, that there was bullshit. They've gone to Pennsylvania and I think it was Arizona, excuse me, and confiscated the voter rolls to see if they could track down. So we haven't heard back about that yet, right? Or what happened in Georgia with the fucking hockey stick fucking thing. You guys know about that, I'm sure. Oh, we're closing down because the water pipes exploded, you see? So everybody go home. And then they like watch the fucking media and everybody leave through the curtains. And then as soon as the fucking people were gone, they fired up those machines again. There was never any fucking leak of water in the basement shutting things down. Never. That was never a fucking thing. And they specifically said that so they could cheat, in my opinion, so that they could get everybody out of there so that no one would be watching over their shoulder while they pulled out boxes of ballots from underneath tables all of a sudden. Like, that's not fucking suspicious. We shouldn't look into that. It was the most secure election in history, actually. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I just...
Anyway. Not jumping to conclusions, but posting so I don't forget. Last Friday night, Atlantic rep attack on FBI cache. Whatever. I hate how people talk on Twitter. Woke Reich fake MAGA dramatic shift messaging. Like, what does this even mean, dude? You're like, oh, I know what's going on behind the scenes.
Just a bunch of leftist dog whistle bullshit, honestly, in most cases, probably.
Wow. I don't even want to fucking consider that.
I do find it a little strange that they pulled Vance out before they pulled Trump out, though.
I think it was just I don't know. That is weird. I'm not sure.
I think it's continuity of government thing, maybe. Or maybe they just realized they could grab Vance faster than they could grab Trump.
I think that was it. And it was just like, we're here he is, let's go. And then the other dudes were like, oh, we're behind, let's go. Like,
yeah, because he was already at the end, already closest to the exit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone really realized what was going on at first either. Like, the shots are going off.
Yeah.
And like, you hear some people start to like, you hear like silverware dropping and, you know, like kind of commotion going on for about 3 or 4 seconds before Trump or anybody else on stage actually reacts or does anything.
Yeah.
So, and then it was probably another 4 or 5 seconds before anyone got grabbed off the stage. So yeah, it was probably about 9 seconds of confusion. I think that's acceptable.
You also had a bunch of the media talking heads grabbing wine bottles and stuff off the tables.
Yeah, I saw that too. They're all stealing fucking wine. Like, Jesus, dude. I mean, I guess, whatever, but...
I mean, technically, is it stealing when they were going to drink it anyway?
Well, I would think that the venue, the hotel that is putting this thing on, probably got paid for those bottles of wine by somebody, right? Which means we paid for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to put this whole thing on again, I guess we're going to have to pay for those bottles of wine again now.
I can't lie, though. If I was there, I might took a bottle of wine with me.
Yep.
You know what? When I was actually in that type of situation, I didn't even think about grabbing anything when I was inside the club.
Oh yeah, but after taking wine.
After a minute or two, everything, like the dude's down or whatever, and everyone kind of has to hang out for a minute before they can figure out how they can leave. I could see taking a bottle of wine.
Honda would have been like, "Hey, you're done with this. I'm gonna finish this up."
I actually don't drink anymore, so I don't care about wine or beer, or liquor, or any of that shit. I haven't had a drink this year.
Dang.
And I don't even fucking care. I don't miss it. It did nothing for me. Alcohol is poison. It gives you Alzheimer's. It makes your brain bleed. Have you ever seen them do autopsy on a lifelong drinker?
No.
When they crack open their skull and look at the brain, the outside of the brain is black. Why is that, Honda? Oh, because every time you drink and get drunk, your brain starts bleeding inside of your skull. And that blood has nowhere to go inside of your skull, so it just kind of sits in that fluid and eventually fucking dries out and ends up as a layer of black shit that covers the outside of your brain. I don't know how bad that is for you or why that's bad, but it was just gross.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. It is pretty awful. It's likely that the majority of public school teachers you leave your kids with on a daily basis agree with this guy. And that's true, and that's sad.
Yeah. There's been at least 1 or 2 fired here in Ohio already that were calling for Trump's assassination again.
Of course.
They can't help it, dude. Because again, why do they think this? Why do they think? Is it illogical? No, it's not. It's completely logical if you buy the mainstream media's lines about Trump hook, line, and sinker. If you believe that he's a rapist, if you believe that he's a child molester, if you believe that he gets child molesters off for crimes that they've committed, if you believe that he's committing war crimes, if you believe that he's helping Israel fucking murder people in Gaza, if you believe that he actually worked with Russia and that he's a Russian agent, if you believe all of these things, then yeah, you show up to the ballroom, you know. It makes perfect fucking sense. The thing is, you got to have a little bit of discernment to see through all of these lies, and especially it's a Gilman's amnesia. Do you know what this is? Gilman's amnesia. Does anyone know what this term is?
No, never heard of that one.
So there was like this scientist guy named Gilman who I forget the particulars. They don't especially particularly matter so much as the gist of the story. So I'll just say the gist of the story. Let's say he was into particle physics or whatever, right? And he knows particle physics inside and out. He's the leading authority in particle physics. And here's CNN doing a story on the thing that he's an expert about. Particle physics story. He's like, wow, that's cool. Let me read about what CNN has to say about particle physics. Oh, they got this wrong. They got that wrong. They got this backwards. Like, that's completely fucking... This is fucking incorrect. And he's all upset and all angry about all of the different things and the 15 different ways that the fucking article about the thing that he's an expert about is completely erroneous, false, and wrong. And he's like, these motherfuckers. And then he reads a story about Ukraine. And he's like, oh, did you know that in Ukraine they said that this happened and that this is going on? Completely forgetting that 5 seconds ago, he read an article about something that he actually knew about, and it was completely materially false in almost every single way. And then he reads the thing about Ukraine or whatever the next story is, and he's like, oh, well, I know about this now. Completely forgetting that he fucking just... Gilman's amnesia. Anyway. Oh, Ilhan Omar. The last time an Alien Enemies Act was invoked was during World War XI. She's reading off of a napkin or whatever. She's reading something that's written out. And of course, World War II is never spelled WW2. It's spelled WW II.
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
World War 11.
Welcome to the Quality Leering Center.
So everyone's
So they
posting
do
videos.
attend class there.
People are posting pictures of 1911s, and they're like, 11 World Wars.
You realize she is probably one of the smarter ones of her people.
Right, and she still didn't catch that she just said World War 11.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just doesn't give a shit.
She's one of the smart ones.
Because I would be reading that and I'd be like, World War 11? Oh, I'm retarded. Sorry, World War 2.
Right.
Like, there's no World War 11. That was a dumb thing to say.
Well, I mean, if you're a Somali terrorist, there's definitely been 11 world wars in your lifetime.
More like 1100 regional wars.
Yeah, but they didn't learn how to write anything down, so they don't really know about any of them that happened more than like 50 years ago.
So Jimmy Kimmel is in hot water over his Melania looks like an expected widow joke, which I was thinking about this. Is it a joke? What is the punchline there? There's no punchline. It's not a joke, right?
Nope.
What it is a clap line. So if you watch the show, no one laughs when he says the line. Everyone claps and cheers when he says the line. He's not looking for a laugh. He's saying to the crowd what they already approve of. And what they already approve of is the idea of assassinating a sitting president. Yeah. Why? I mean, I could go through the whole thing again. I think I'm beating the dead horse at this point on the why.
Real quick, I had a little stupid, I have a news app on my phone. I mean, they come with that. I had a notification about a survey about this Jimmy Kimmel's remarks, and I went and clicked on it. And one of the answers was, I believe I agree with Jimmy Kimmel's statement that his joke was not in reference to the ballroom attack. It was like his joke was like 2 days before the ballroom attack. But it's just an example of the news media being obtuse and dishonest with their freaking survey questions and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jimmy Kimmel know? He knew.
Yeah.
He's part of it.
Well, I think it's telling of taking a barometer of the pressure in the room, right? When you see someone like Jimmy Kimmel say a a joke like that. Sorry, I can't speak all of a sudden.
It happens.
And you get a whole fucking crowd of people who are watching and cheering and laughing because it's not funny. There's no punchline there. There's no humor in that, really, that I can see. But if you're like hoping and praying that someone kills Hitler, and then the comedian guy goes, "Oh, Hitler's wife looks like an expecting widow." Yeah. It's very telling of the attitude of the people on the left, that you could make a joke about the death of a sitting president, and your crowd not only fucking approves of it, like, not only doesn't get you fucking kicked off of stage for talking about the president like that, but they approve of it, and they cheer and yell, and like, he knows his audience. He knows what they want. They know what they want. And he's just tacitly giving permission to whoever does this next, that the left will be like, "Oh, you tried. Oh, it's a good, I wish that he was a better shot," and all the things that they fucking say. And like, God forbid that they actually get him, and then we'll deal with like everything that happened after Charlie Kirk over again with these fucking demonic, fucking ghoulish fucking people coming out of the woodworks celebrating death.
See, and that's the problem. I think a lot of these people don't understand that, like, okay, let's say you do kill Trump, then you have Vance and whoever's behind Vance. to say that JD's not going to go full fucking nuclear at that point and just kill everybody at that point then in history.
Well, I'll say this. When Biden was in office, I didn't like Biden. I thought he was a piece of shit. I thought he was destroying this country by letting people into the country in the way that he was and not fucking enforcing laws and doing all the things that he did. I thought he was probably the worst president we've ever had. Certainly in my entire life, he was the worst president we've had.
Right. In our lifetime, yes.
If he would have died of natural causes while in office, I would have not said anything publicly that was like, oh, thank God, because that's not appropriate. Right. He's the president. The president dies in office. It's like, that's sad. Let's fucking come together as a country, And
then the horror, once the realization would have hit you that Kamala Harris was now the president.
Yeah, I guess I'd probably be mourning.
Exactly.
But the point is, like, I wouldn't be celebrating. And then certainly, if there were, let's say, some right-wing fucking loon who did something and then ended up getting Biden when he was president, and there were anyone on the right who even fucking breathed a breath of celebration, can you imagine the retribution?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about this. Like, there's the old adage of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right? And that's like the golden rule, pretty much. That's the rule you live by on the playground and so on. And from there on, that's the way you should live your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. When you have these people who would hamstring you for the same thing that they're doing, I think that the rule should be do unto others as they would do unto you.
You know what? One thing we forgot to talk about from earlier about how many people that had been killed from the left, it's also the people who was charged in that so-called insurrection that committed suicide.
Oh, yeah. How many of those were there? There's multiple people whose lives were seemingly ruined forever because they showed up to a rally on January 6th, and now they don't have their house is gone and their wife has left them and they don't have their kids and they're sitting in prison in solitary confinement and they killed themselves.
Yep.
Illegally, by the way, in solitary confinement. Oftentimes without a trial.
Right, because another thing that they were doing to the January 6th defendants was while they were sitting in jail with their trial pending and the federal government taking their sweet ass time, by the way, to get to these people. So meanwhile, they're just sitting and rotting in prison. If you happen to have your lawyer come by the jail and talk to you about your case, I mean, the way it works, you sit on a telephone through a piece of plate glass window so you can see them, and they pick up a telephone and you pick up a telephone and you talk to each other through the plate glass window. There's no contact. There's no handshake exchange. You're not even breathing the same fucking air. Right? And they would take these people when they're done with their meeting with their lawyer and they would throw them in solitary confinement for 7 days. Why? Oh, because they might have been exposed to COVID and we have to protect everybody from COVID. There like literally couldn't have been a COVID exposure at all from that interaction. And they were using that as an excuse to, if you were a January 6th defendant and needed to talk to your lawyer, well, we have to punish you for that. We have to make sure that you know that you using your rights and talking to your lawyer means that we're going to fuck you. So go ahead, talk to your lawyer, see what happens. Like, that's the attitude that they had. And these people, by the way, the jailers, the people who were in charge of these prisons, the people like the Capitol Police, a lot of them are still in power, are still sitting there collecting paychecks on a weekly basis. Like, fuck these people. They need to be investigated too. They probably won't be.
Yeah,
but if there was justice, there would be.
Did like immunity been signed for a few of them, so they couldn't get charged or some shit like that?
You mean the auto pen?
Yeah. Just like Fauci had got immunity. I think that one couple of
Oh, the
other
Capitol,
people got that.
the police officers? Yeah, there were
Yeah.
several of them who got preemptively pardoned for any crimes they may have committed. So that even if there is an investigation into what happened on January 6th, and even if it shows that this particular officer or that particular officer was involved in some way with some extracurricular activities with the people in the upper echelons of government, that they have been protected because the auto pen signed a fucking thing and they can't be charged.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Also, another person to add to the list of people who died. There was and it wasn't because of suicide, but he was in prison. January 6th defendant died in prison of bed bug bites. What a way to go, bro. Can you imagine having so many bed bug bites on your body with no medical attention whatsoever that they become infected and you die of a fucking infection from the bed bug bites?
Ugh. Pain, suffering, dark side.
Well, it happened to one of them.
Yeah, there was also at least a couple of them that had their cases dismissed and were still held for several weeks. And I think one guy with a couple months, he didn't get out until after Trump was getting in. They didn't release him. They didn't do the paperwork after he'd already been, his charges have all been dropped.
Well, there's one guy in Colorado who got pardoned by Trump. He spent all the time in prison, pardoned in Trump when he got into office. And, well, Colorado was like, well, we can't have that because, when we arrested this guy, which we had no other reason to go into his house and arrest him, but we arrested him. And when we went into his house, we found some magazines that are over the 15-round magazine limit in his house. And each one of those is a 5-year penalty. We found like 10 magazines, so we're going to hold this guy for another 50 years. Because of Colorado. So even though he didn't commit a crime, he was extrajudiciously charged with a crime by the Biden administration, where the local authorities got involved on their behalf, went into his house and arrested him. In the process of arresting him, found something that is technically illegal in Colorado, but they would not have found it otherwise, right? And they didn't even charge him with the crime at first because they're like, well, the federal crimes cover him. We'll just send him to jail. And then after he was pardoned by Trump, they were like, oh man, this guy was pardoned by Trump. What can we do about it? Oh, I know. This is still within the statute of limitations. When we were arresting him, we found this. And yeah, that's exactly what they fucking did. So the guy never hurt anybody, was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, bought some stuff that used to be legal in Colorado that then became illegal later. Like, goddamn, dude. Like, do we have justice in this country? Is there a justice system in this country when that kind of thing's going on?
Justice for some, but not all.
Well, that would be injustice.
Correct.
It'd be a multi-tiered justice system.
Well, apparently the criminals get justice because they've been arrested multiple times and let go. They get justice.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. It's good for them. It's great for them.
Guidelines for justice.
No cash bail. Great.
Mercy to the criminal is fucking violence to the victim, right? Like, let's say you have a daughter, and let's say there was some migrants living in the country, and let's say they raped your daughter, right? And then they go before the judge, and the judge is like, well, they're from Senegal. This is something that happens a lot in Senegal. The Senegalese people have really low IQ. You can't really expect them to live up to our standards. They're living in our country, and if we hold them to our standards, it's going to be really bad for them. So what we got to do is just slap them on the wrist and let them know that rape's bad, maybe, but we're not actually going to fucking lock them up. How do you feel as the father?
Daughters were dressed. I mean,
look
at the way they're dressed, man.
Which I think that was a story like 2 weeks ago in one of those Nordic countries. I think he raped the girl, and the judge said, "Well, he doesn't understand European laws, so we're just gonna let him go."
That's when you're just like,
What
he
was that?
understands this and do a whole Gary Pluchet on his ass.
And the people just accept it.
Were they being lewd? I mean, it's one thing to be naked.
They were
hot, but were they being lewd? Because that's.
But here's the thing.
I'm
They
not
used
saying.
to be. But here's the thing. They used to be fucking Vikings.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
See, what happened was they put these chemicals in the water that turned the frogs gay. When you turn the frogs gay, what you do to people is you make them fucking pussies. So
I
you got a
can't
bunch
stop
of-
eating the frog. It sucks.
There used to be all these fucking Vikings, but now they're just a bunch of pussies because they've been drinking the fucking gay frog water.
I know I keep bringing up that question a lot on this channel, but it just still pisses me off. These motherfuckers used to be Vikings and knights and I don't know whatever they doing.
They couldn't be
Europe,
both.
play dragons and all that shit. And what the fuck happened?
I like the rewriting of history by like the Israelites and stuff, the black Israelites who like try to say like, oh, actually all of the inventions came out of Africa and the white people stole all of it. And we actually built everything that's ever been built. You guys are just taking credit for it. It's like, oh my God.
The Farrakhan.
Well, you know, that is all true. You know, it's all true.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you, by the way. You're welcome.
Didn't they do genetic testing on the pharaohs in Egypt and find that they were European?
Yeah, they were all white.
That's hilarious.
Greek.
They were Greek. They were Greek and
But
white.
Greek
and-
still Greek.
No, Greeks are
Mediterranean,
they're brown. They're brown. Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
you guys
they're
ever want to
brown.
see a really funny video? Go check out the thing with the modern day woman and Neanderthal. Where they have a baby together. There was a video that came out recently where it was a modern day woman and then a Neanderthal from the caveman times.
They had enough
breeding
one
together
child.
because they're in the same genome or whatever and having a child.
Yeah, they had
And it
enough
literally just
one
looks like
child.
I show speed.
Justin B dropped in $5. Thanks, man. Says, unfortunately, you have to be proven innocent before you can scream justice. Long time no see, Honda. Well, don't we have this system in the United States where you're innocent until proven guilty?
No,
The way it's supposed to work.
That was the old generation. Not anymore.
Yeah, that's the Old Testament way. You're
Oh,
right.
that was old. Now it's we are going to suspect you of something, even though being suspicious isn't a thing, and we're gonna just say you did it, and then we're gonna point all the fingers at you and create a scenario in which there's nothing you can do but accept a plea because you're gonna get screwed one way or another. So
Well,
just
even
admit
if you were even found innocent, people still believe no, you just got away with it. Like Cal
Unless
Rittenhouse.
you've
No,
been
you got away with it.
OJ.
I
unless
think OJ
you've
did
been
get away with it, but
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
you know,
Unless
there's a
you've been-
video of OJ Simpson on TV wearing the isotoner gloves like 6 months before he killed fucking what's her name?
Yeah.
Like he's
Cole
like
Brown.
on the sideline of a fucking NFL game as a commentator, and it's cold outside, so he's got a jacket and gloves on, and he's wearing the exact isotoners that he used when he killed what's her name.
In all fairness, those were good gloves back in the day.
And then like later in court, if you watch the video in court of him trying to put on the gloves, he's wearing like medical neoprene, like the fucking like, rubber gloves while he's trying to put the gloves on. And of course, when you like, if a glove fits you and then you put another glove on and try to put the glove on, the glove's not going to fit you anymore. So
That was
Also-
probably the dumbest defense in that whole thing, was them having him do that, because what they should have done was they should have introduced a second pair of gloves that were the exact same kind and been like, hey, put this on straight to your skin.
Yeah. Because weren't the gloves outside for like a few days before they found them or something?
The one was because it was behind Kato Kalin's apartment or whatever that was there on the property.
Yeah, if it's been in the sun for a few days, it's liable to shrink a little bit. I mean, they're made out of leather, especially if it rained on them.
The other thing I don't understand about that whole trial, right? Like generally speaking, if there's a murder trial, you're looking at a couple days of witness testimony, evidence being fucking admitted, arguments being made, closing arguments. You're looking at a week, 7 days in court, maybe, like a week and a half. How many fucking months was that trial? Doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why. Oh, because he's a high profile guy with a lot of money and lawyers and stuff like that. Now we have to come up with a higher level of evidence to convict him for some reason versus like some thug in the street. We don't do that. We just say, here's the evidence. And if it's enough, we pound the gavel and he goes to jail.
Thugalicious fresh.
Well, the Trump administration just found 14,000 food stamp recipients in a single state driving luxury cars like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Maseratis. And where was this at? Was this Minneapolis? Was this Minnesota? Was this Colorado? Was this California? Was this some kind of hellhole leftist fucking place? No.
Louisiana.
This was, yeah, exactly. So in the places where we have the ability to audit things and control, we're finding a level of fraud in this country that I don't think anyone fucking had any idea about. I don't think we have any kind of handle on how bad the fraud is.
No, because people they only care about the big states. They only care about the star states. They don't care about the Louisianas and the Tennessees, and they don't care about the little states that don't matter. If you're not a swing state, then I mean, you can get away with all kinds of stuff there.
Well, a lot of it also has to do with the fact that when you start looking into it, it's because there's so much corruption at state levels in both major parties. It's never being taken care of because it's all career politicians that have been in power for like 30, 40, 50 years in some cases in these states. And then when you also look what happened in Louisiana the other day with the mass shooting at that mall, that kid was basically let out by some of these career judges. That's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, North Carolina has some kind of voting initiative to check the voting rules. And I saw the other day they'd found like 600 and some thousand so far on the registered to vote who are either ineligible or dead. So,
I saw that. That's real.
Yeah, they just did that in Colorado. Surprisingly, they did that in Colorado too, and they cleared off. I think it was about 600,000 people off the voter rolls in Colorado, which there was only like 4 million on the voter rolls. So when you take 600,000 off, that's a chunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do that usually biannually with a lot of states. They'll do voter purges is what it is there if you haven't voted in, I think it's like 3 election cycles or something.
Breaking. DOJ confirms to Fox News that the FBI and HSI, I don't know what that is. What's HSI? Agents are currently raiding 20 plus locations in Minneapolis, Minnesota in relation to the ongoing federal fraud investigations. Sources tell Fox that locations are largely Somali-linked businesses, including the infamous Quality Leering Center.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm told these are court-approved search warrants being served and that they are tied to fraud, not immigration enforcement. Fox told 22 search warrants were executed in Minnesota this morning. DOJ spokesperson holding statements today. The FBI with federal and state and local law enforcement are involved in court-authorized law enforcement activity as part of ongoing fraud investigation. That's good to hear, man. It's been a while since, all of this stuff was originally talked about and stuff. So them finally going in and arresting some of these people is fantastic. I want to see more of it. I want to see them hold these people's feet to the fire so they go state's evidence against their co-conspirators. I want to see every single person who got a kickback fucking charged as well.
Mm-hmm.
Top to bottom.
Homeland Security investigations.
Yeah, System Will got it right. I was just about to say it. Homeland Security.
Yeah, I saw that
Homeland
right
Security
before.
investigations. Yeah.
Right before I started the chat, I saw that.
The mission to investigate transnational crime, including terrorism, gangs, human trafficking, intellectual property theft, and cybercrime.
Cyber.
It's part of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. And they have the broad legal authority to pretty much enforce any law.
Happening this.
Here, let's watch this real quick.
Happening this morning, federal law enforcement agencies are conducting several
That
raids.
parking
across
lot
the
looks
state
familiar.
Connected to the Somali fraud investigation. That's according to federal officials. This video was from investigative reporter AJ Legault from outside the Quality Learning Center. Our AJ Legault was at one of the raids and shared these photos with us. And sources tell him that the raids are focusing on Twin Cities child and daycare centers. We do know that these raids are not part of an immigration enforcement operation. We will follow this story all day, so stay with us on KARE 11 Plus for the latest details.
Oh, I thought that was KARE 2. Weird.
So we have some breaking news. Let's get to this real quick. Just in the last hour here, federal authorities have raided more than 20 locations. That's according to the DOJ, including child care facilities in Minneapolis. So it happened this morning. It's part of a sweeping fraud investigation. The raid, by the way, appears to have largely targeted Somali-owned businesses. We'll obviously continue to...
Oh, hello.
So we have some breaking news. Fraud investigation. The raid, by the way, appears to have largely targeted Somali-owned businesses. We'll obviously continue to monitor the story as details come in. But Allison, when I heard Somali-owned businesses, largely them, I can just hear AOC and Ilhan Omar, and here we go in terms of, the evil Trump administration targeting Somali-owned businesses. We'll see how this develops.
I mean, come on. The evidence is out there. It's like, open your eyes, see what you see. We've seen the video. Nick Shirley is out there bringing it to us. So don't play that. Sorry.
So we have some.
Y'all, I just realized something. It says their sign says Quality Learning Center and Tax Services.
Oh.
I wonder if that maybe that's the reason why Ilhan Omar's tax scandal, her income number scandal is a little bit weird. It went from like however many million net worth to like 400,000.
Would you trust
doing your taxes?
Would you trust the Somali-run daycare center with your tax information?
I'm saying maybe they did Ilhan Omar's taxes.
Hey, I'm going to take little Johnny to be watched by the daycare center, and also while you're at it, here's my W-2.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I think they did Ilhan Omar's tax returns.
Yeah, they're also stealing people's information. That's how they're doing all the fraud shit there.
So, Major Fauci advisor indicted. What we know about the DOJ case against David Morins on April 28, 2026. The Department of Justice indicted David Morins, a former senior advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci, over alleged actions during the federal investigations into COVID-19 origins. What happened? David Morins was indicted by U.S. Justice Department on 28th. The DOJ says he violated federal law during investigations into the origins of COVID-19. Charges are conspiracy against the United States, destruction, alteration, or falsification of records, concealment or removal of records, aiding and abetting. Allegedly, he was hiding and alerting records during federal investigations into COVID-19 origins. Prosecutors claim this included suppressing alternative theories about how the pandemic started. Morins served as senior advisor to Anthony Fauci from 2006 to 2022. The DOJ described the allegations, the alleged actions, as serious breach of public trust during the pandemic. So hopefully they hold this dude's feet to the fire and he sings like a canary and talks about all of the other things that we don't know about. I hope that happens.
I hope they ask Fauci to testify because he was preemptively pardoned, and therefore the Fifth Amendment does not apply to him, and he cannot take the Fifth Amendment. He has to answer the question. If he lies, it's he can still go to prison for perjury.
Yeah, I mean that is the fucking double-edged sword about being pardoned. It's like, hey, you were pardoned for these crimes. Now come talk to us about these crimes. You can't not answer you have to answer the fucking questions.
How are they going to tell if he's lying or not? How does that work?
Well,
like if like I knew you went to Walmart yesterday, and I said, Mr. Zaradia, did you go to Walmart yesterday? And you say no.
Well, I did.
Then I directly know a fact that you are directly lying about, so we can directly hold you accountable for the thing that you lied about. It's a little harder because you have to know. You have to know the answer to the question before you ask it.
Yes, yeah. So they have to have an investigation of some sort that leads up to the truth. Like, because there's no way to you can't make somebody talk because they don't want to talk. Like, what are you gonna do?
Subpoena him.
Well, you pretty much you have to have the investigation done before you even question them, right? Because you have to have the ducks in a row. You have to have the information that you know to be true. And then you ask them questions about it and see if they lie about things that you already know. That's how you do it.
Okay, well, the subpoena is like, if you, and I get what you're saying, but look at both sides, both politicians on either side, when they're asked in the subpoena to answer questions, they dodge the bullet, they pass the buck, they dodge and deflect. They never actually answer the question. That's why everybody's always reclaiming people's times. And that's been happening for years. But I mean, yeah, you can't force somebody to say something. There's no way.
It works a little different in a courtroom. If the judge doesn't like if the dude's dodging the questions, then the judge can order him to have a direct answer. And if he doesn't give a direct answer, then the person can be held in contempt of court, and then be sent to jail just for that.
And also, let's say like the case is about gun running or something, right? And you were involved with the gun running, but you were pardoned for your involvement in the gun running. And then we call you to court to testify about someone else who was involved with gun running with you. If we ask you a question previously, like let's say previously I would ask you a question about gun running that you were involved with, and the answer to the question would incriminate you. You would say, I plead the Fifth, because the Fifth Amendment is to protect you from self-incrimination, right? If you have been pardoned, you cannot plead the Fifth because there is no self-incrimination in regard to the crime that you've been pardoned for. So therefore, you are compelled to answer.
Okay.
That is all.
The power of Christ compel you.
So the United Arab Emirates are leaving OPEC, and that's actually a fucking pretty big deal. OPEC produces 40% of the world's oil as a cartel, and they dictate production, meaning they dictate oil prices. The United Arab Emirates is the number 3rd largest producer in OPEC, and they have some pipeline. So check this out. Here's the strait where everything's being held up. Here's the United Arab Emirates. Here's where they make their oil, right? So technically before they would have to put it on a boat somewhere in here and send it through the strait. But they finished building this pipeline. So now they don't have to go through the strait anymore to pick up oil from the United Arab Emirates. And they just left the fucking the OPEC. They just left OPEC, which means now they can produce as much oil as they want to because they're not constrained by the OPEC agreement. They can send it through their pipeline, completely going around the Strait of Hormuz, which is a point of contention, and it will necessarily make the price of oil go down. They're saying they're unblocking 1 million extra barrels per day. That's going to drop the international price of oil fairly precipitously. I believe.
And they don't have to worry about no natives saying, "You're digging pipelines across our land. Give it to us by our ancestors."
We were promised this pipeline 3,000 years ago.
Wasn't the UAE, weren't they the ones that stopped letting their students study in the UK because of the rampant Islamic extremism in the UK schools? Or was that a different Gulf nation?
I don't know, but that's badass. Like, out of all of the Middle Eastern countries that have a bunch of Muslims in them, the United Arab Emirates, I think, is the best one.
They're pretty chill.
Like, you can go there and, like, girls can walk around on the street without their faces covered, and, you know, like they still have some fucking crazy ass backwards laws there, I'm sure, but
yeah, I probably won't want to live there.
They're more free than anywhere else in the Middle East.
I mean, as a man, you'll probably be perfectly fine.
Yeah, you're probably fine. Just don't bring your wife.
You'll have a few of them swarming around you.
They also
no, bring your wife, because she's gonna listen, or else
she's gonna jump into.
They do have weird laws about like recording, right? So like if you're recording video on the street and you happen to catch a woman on video, that's against the law for some reason there, and they'll fucking throw you in jail for recording and having it, like even accidentally having like a woman in the background and you don't like delete it, they'll fuck you. So they do have some backwards laws.
Man, I know Saudi Arabia is probably kicking themselves for selling crude oil to China without taking $1 for it, because that's really screwed them up.
I think they're about to leave OPEC too.
You know what? And I bet you with that, it's a cash thing. You know, hey, if you give us a little something, you won't go to jail.
Well, okay, if you want to talk about the difference between Trump getting elected and whoever else would have been elected from the Democrats, this is a glaring, huge difference. Like all of this stuff going in Iran, the way it went down anyway, like we might still be fighting in Iran, I'm not sure. But certainly like the swiftness and the way that we went in and fucked shit up, and like now we're already getting out and we're opening up the strait and making deals and getting rid of OPEC countries and all this other stuff. And like we own basically international shipping throughout the world because we've got all of the important fucking waterways locked the fuck down. And we've also at the same time cut off China from their oil, because where were they getting oil from? Oh, they were getting it from Iran and Venezuela. So now the number one competitor, the number one fucking country that was like going to outcompete us militarily in the next decade and do all of these other things, is suddenly having energy problems and is suffering because of it. While we're, you know, like it's not great here because of the price of energy went up a little bit, but it's still not even as high as it was under Biden. It was $5 a gallon here under Biden. It's like $4 now. You know, it's still like $1 less than it was under Biden. And there was no war to fucking make it high under Biden. It was just him fucking constricting the fucking. So imagine what the oil prices would be right now if Biden or you know, whoever was in control.
Yeah.
So there's some huge fucking differences. And it's really hard to fucking spell that out or to understand it, because there's no alternate reality in which those things exist, but it would be the alternate reality if those people got elected. So
yeah, and China is a way off right now than they're admitting, that they're putting out there. I saw an article a few minutes before the chat that was shared that's talking about they're having to import foreign donkey meat to feed their population right now.
Oh God.
Right. Yep. Well, and why are they having such a tough time?
Because the price of energy.
Yeah, because the price of energy is fucked right now, because we fucked it for them. We fucked it for them and a little bit for us. We fucked it hard for them and a little bit for us. So we're going to outcompete them in the long term. And especially when we control so much energy in this country alone that we can tap into. China doesn't have that. China does not have anything like that. They've got coal, but they don't have enough energy and coal to fucking and like immediately available to produce energy for their entire country. They can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
They also have an AliExpress account, so that's keeping them afloat too. So
they told their people years ago to actually grow little gardens outside their homes of like various. It's some kind of grass, I believe, is what it is. It's edible, and so they've been doing that for years now. Is what it is.
Well, and like when it comes down to it, who's ultimately going to be the enemy to contend with in a couple of years?
China.
It's
China.
Yeah, it's not Russia. I mean, Russia's out there, but they don't have barely any fucking people, right?
Yeah, they're done skis after this war.
Fucking, it's not Iran. They're a bunch of fucking third worlders who can't get their shit together, and every time they fucking try to get a bomb, we fucking bomb them back into the third world again. You know, it's not. It's China, dude. It's fucking China. It's always been China, and so whatever we can do to curtail their power in the future seems like a really good idea. And taking over Venezuela and fucking Iran and fucking shit up so that they don't get their energy anymore is exactly that.
Also, the vast majority of Canada's oil deposits are in Alberta, and I believe they're having the referendum whether to succeed from Canada or not. I believe in October, so that would change a whole lot.
Yeah, and like their birth rate's collapsing just as fast as everyone else's. So
because I'm just saying, under Canada, they have a lot of environmentalist crap about how much oil they can pump out and shit. And if we have some kind of sway over Alberta, independent Alberta, which we would, they would, we could control their oil as well, basically.
The only thing China do. Oh, good.
Oh, what's the deal with them monetizing this money that they're getting, or not the money, but they're trying to monetize through coin the Venezuela oil as well as the Iran oil? Is that real? Like they're going to monetize it? I don't remember the name of the coin, GNRO or something like that.
You're talking about like a Bitcoin variant? You're talking about like actual
like a bit. Yeah, no, like a Bitcoin variant, something like that, where it's they're just going to monetize the oil from these other countries. What's his name? The Israeli guy, he was talking about how it's to follow basically the world order, the new world structure, and they're going to create this coin. It was on it was on something. I saw it, and he was just saying, yeah, we're going to secure this coin and secure our future. And I was like, holy shit, that's like end of the world stuff.
Anything that threatens the petrodollar is I wouldn't invest into right now, the way things have been going with how the United States has been acting.
Well, I know that under Biden, when we were talking about the petrodollar, it seemed like it was dead. It was on its way out. There were multiple countries talking about trading in yuan, talking about trading in anything but the United States dollar. I forget what country it was, Saudi Arabia or somebody was talking about
all the BRICS countries.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
They were talking about coming up with a gold-backed currency that they could trade oil in.
Yeah.
And now nobody's talking about that. Nobody is. In fact, everybody's saying, fuck, we got to get our hands on more dollars because that's the only way that we can get oil is with dollars. Which is great for us, right? That's great for our economy because now everybody in the world's going to send us their shit and we're going to send them some dollars that we just printed.
You're like buying our treasury bonds.
Right. Well, here you go. Here's your money.
Yeah. And it's like, that's all the resources go to us again. I mean, it's literally it's rolling back the clock and making America what it used to be.
So much winning.
So, yeah, there's a lot of good things going on right now. In spite of the bad things that, everyone likes to shove down your throat, in spite of the assassination attempts and the leftist fucking craziness, in spite of there being another Middle Eastern war, it seems like things are going in a direction that's going to be fantastic for the American people. And we're going to drag these leftist fucking retards kicking and screaming all the way to success, all the way to prosperity, all the way to peace, all the way to having families again and bringing back the fucking Judeo-Christian ethics and way of life. And if they don't like it, too bad, because that's the way it's going to be. I mean, maybe they're going to win the next election and all this shit's going to be turned around and all of this will be for naught, which is scary, which is a bad fucking end result is if Trump doesn't leave a legacy that puts someone else in charge who's going to continue that legacy. But we'll jump off that bridge when we get there, man. We're not there yet. We're still in the Trump's doing shit phase. And I, for one, support our president. And I, for one, think that you guys should too.
That's why we need to pass the SAVE Act or some version of it to clean up the voting rolls and require a photo ID to vote.
Yeah, they're not trying to do that for illegals is what it is. To get them on the voter rolls themselves. The Democrats are trying to push their own bullshit version.
What about the gay frog lickers and like the tree people? What about their religions? You know, the Buddhists, the Confucianists.
They'll fall in line very quickly.
I'm not the only group of people that I'm really worried about on an international level, and especially inside of our nation,
Islam.
They're the Muslims. Yeah,
the Muslim. Is it the Muslims or is it the Islamists? Because I think we should specifically say the Islamic, like radical.
One and the same, basically. Honestly,
I would.
I would.
Muslims are friendly and loving.
Well, I would differentiate, but let me tell you why I don't. Because when one of the radical Islamicists does one of their attacks, do you know who runs shade for them? Who runs cover? Who makes excuses? Who they're basically apologists for these radical Islamicists? The Muslims.
Yeah, supposed moderates there.
And it's not all of them, but it's always them.
Exactly. Well, when it's them, 60% of them, over half are like, I'm okay with that. Oh, they blew up the World Trade Center. They blew up these planes. Oh, that's cool. 60%.
One of them is mayor.
It was mainly like the Islamists, like radicals. So I don't think it was the Muslim people. The Muslim people in general are friendly. And they're peace people.
It's always 50-50 with me. They're either extremely nice or extremely assholes.
All I'm saying is
no in between.
60% of them are okay if I got my head chopped off tomorrow by an Islamicist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so can somebody who is from Texas and doesn't like you. I mean, that's not. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's people
everywhere. How many Texas Christians are beheading people right now?
0.
I mean, I don't know right now. But back in Waco days, like, I mean,
they weren't even executing people.
Well, they were just raping and stuff. That's fine.
That's not true. There was no rape in Waco.
Okay, all right.
There's never been any evidence of any rape coming out of. The only thing that evidenced out of Waco was that David Koresh slept with a bunch of people's wives.
Yeah, and they had a lot of guns.
There's no evidence of any child abuse. There's no evidence of any pedophilia. There's no evidence of any other laws being broken.
Okay. All right.
Like, I could do a whole deep dive with you if you want to into fucking Waco.
I'm curious. I'm certainly curious. I don't know that like we gotta do a deep dive, but I'm definitely curious about the stats on that.
On this new segment of Spank the Yank.
Well, we'll just say that the claims about David Koresh and about the parishioners of the Mount Carmel Seventh-day Adventist Branch Davidians is much exaggerated. There was some stuff there because he was using his position as a head of that particular church to convince parishioners that he had the right to sleep with their wives and impregnate them. Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, that's bad. It's a bit culty, even.
I'd say it was a cult.
Yeah, that's what they all do. That's kind of
But was there child abuse going on? There's no evidence of that. Was there rape inside of the compound? There's no evidence of that. Was there, like illegal gun production going on inside of the compound? There's literally no evidence of that. So, and they could have arrested David Koresh at any point in a way that would have led to the death of nobody, because he did go to Walmart and he had a band and they did concerts and, like they could have picked him up at any time
They went for a run every single day at the same time.
But they wanted to have a big show because what had happened a year before Waco? Oh, it was the thing in Ruby Ridge where they killed the guy's fucking wife and his son and his dog over a couple of shotguns. Like, they had some real bad press. So they wanted to go after this group of religious fanatics who were in a cult who were raping children, they said, right? They're making guns and raping children. So this will look great for our publicity. So they had a whole group of fucking media there waiting for them to do the arrest with stories in hand handed to them. And then things went down in a way that they didn't like. I think it was like 3 officers got killed and they had to back off and they ran out of ammo, and it was a couple hour shootout, which led to like a 45-day standoff in which at the end of they burned the church down with the people inside.
Yeah.
The children didn't have gas masks that could fit their faces for the CS gas that they were pumping into the fucking auditorium where they were. They died. The children didn't die of fire. They died of chemical inhalation. Think about that.
And then they went and said that the Branch Davidians started the fire.
Yes. Well, at the same time, okay, and then here's another one too. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, been proven. They had all of the media backed up like a mile away, so they couldn't see anything. The entrance to the church in which all of the people were inside of was on the other side of the building from where the media were, and they had helicopters flying around the entrance. And if you look at the videos, you can see little flashes coming out of the helicopters. Machine gun fire. They were machine gunning people down who were running out of the front door while the church was on fire. There's eyewitness testimony that says this.
They said that they didn't, but there's video evidence saying that they did. So
yeah, there's a lot of fucked up shit. Anyway, I recommend watching Windigoon. Windigoon did a whole 3-hour fucking video on Waco. It was pretty inclusive, and he did a pretty good job of showing both sides of the story too. So it wasn't just from the Branch Davidians' point of view.
That's good, very good. Show both sides. Cameras never lie.
It's wild to watch journalists at the White House Correspondents' Dinner cower in the face of the violence they themselves instigated with their endless propaganda.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you had the same No Kings dipshits this morning giving a standing ovation to King Charles in front of Congress.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny.
Oh, did you see that he had an honor guard of dressed in Revolutionary War era uniform?
What?
Of course he fucking did.
Yeah, that was badass.
I didn't see any of that. What? Oh man, put that up.
Yeah, Trump had some Revolutionary War era uniforms on some soldiers up there for the king's visit. In case you forgot, motherfucker.
So I missed this part. I don't know. And you're in Minnesota there, Mr. Z. I don't know if you saw this or not.
It's Diggs Bigaloop.
My bad. Did you see Waltz taking credit for the Somalian fucking communities getting raided?
No, not taking credit for it. No, I listened to the NPR both in Minnesota and in Wisconsin about how he was very much against what happened, and then of course against ICE, and he said that part of the reason why he's stepping down is one, to find better people that can get in there and to recruit people, but is to basically find the officers that did the shootings and injured the guy, shot the guy in the leg or whatever, and prosecute them, bring them back to Minnesota so they can prosecute them to the full extent of the law. And they're going to lose their qualified immunity and basically put them behind bars for murder. I saw him actively standing against that, but nothing about him taking credit for the Somalian raids.
So basically he said Well, here's what Jack Posobiec said, and he's a good source. You have to love Walt's trying to say his government was the first to recognize fraud in the Somalian communities.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So he was standing up and saying, oh, well, actually, it was my administration that first recognized the Somalian communities had a problem. But you didn't do anything about it, and you didn't investigate anybody. And when there was an investigation, you shut it down. And when people started talking about it, you got behind these people and obfuscated and did everything that you could to make it harder for the investigations to happen and stand in front of the American people and say that they were racist and all of these other things for saying that the Somali community was doing these things, when in fact they were. And now after everything's out and it's beyond provable that all of this shit happened and that you were at the center of it, now you're saying, oh, well, actually, it was my government that recognized that this was going on. Fuck you.
He had to pull his finger away from it because he was hurting the people who he gets money from. So he had to pull back. You have a choice.
So this is funny, dude. Every time when the killer tries to assassinate Trump,
Hey, watch your sea legs, mutant.
Hey, you know what time it is?
Yeah, it's...
I don't believe it. How did you get here?
Yeah, like a stupid question, Duro. How did I get here?
Will you just tell me?
Let's listen to. So Steven Crowder did this little edit today. Let's watch this about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. I want to talk to the people that are concerned enough with humanity to say that we should not, that never again means something.
So never again, that they're talking about World War II and the Nazi concentration camps, and never again, right? And Trump's running he's got concentration camps going on at the southern border. And what did they do in the concentration camps? Anybody? Yeah, that's right. They gassed people to death in the concentration camps for being Jews. And now Trump's got concentration camps, and he's putting people in there because they're brown, right? What would you do to stop Hitler?
The vast majority of incidents of domestic terror come from white nationalism.
Oh, white nationalism that was paid for by the SPLC so they could make it seem like there was more white nationalism so that they could get more money for fighting white nationalism, right?
And that we are really, truly facing an environment of fascism.
Donald Trump is also very old and a racist and a neo-Nazi. I don't care what Elon Musk is doing behind a presidential seal. In this country, we hate Nazis. Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
So these are literally the talking points that the Trump shooter had in his manifesto, line for line.
If Donald Trump wants to find the rapists and criminals in this country, he needs to look in a mirror today.
It's not about progressive, it's not moderate, it's not liberal. This is about, do you understand the assignment of fighting fascism right now?
I would not say that assassinating a young mother of 3 in the street is part of ICE's mandate.
See, and it's this kind of rhetoric. So was Nicole Good assassinated by ICE?
Kind of. Not really, but yeah.
Not really at all. Not even close.
Well, Renee Good tried to run over ICE agents and was shot in response.
What happened to Renee Good and Alex Pretty was 100% predictable. It was 100% predict. Not that they particularly in those situations would end up dead, but that in the powder keg situation that the officials in Minnesota conflicting with the officials in Washington, D.C. set up. They specifically set up the situation and with the media where they had people out on the street riled up, getting in the faces of federal agents, and it was only a matter of time until something happened. It was literally the most predictable thing that I think I've ever seen, that something like this would happen eventually. And it did twice, predictably. And the people who set up the preconditions for these things to happen stood on top of the dead bodies of the people that they set up to die and used that as a platform to get their message across successfully to a bunch of people who look at the situation and think that they got assassinated because they can't think for themselves. Because there's a huge difference between what happened and someone getting assassinated. There's a huge difference. And if I have to spell it out for you, I'm sorry. I'm not going to.
I do find it very ironic that the two people that were killed by federal agents in these situations, their name is spelled out pretty good.
Yeah, it almost makes you think you're living in a fucking simulation.
Yeah.
Good old Maverick 88, first choice of the budget-minded assassin.
Means that it was discharged. I can tell you from what I know, with the understanding that we're a day and a half in, that this is the gun that he discharged. And as those of us that have ever shot one of these know, what happens when you shoot that is the casing stays inside the firearm, and then if you reload it, it pops it out. My understanding is that it was inside the firearm, but hadn't been ejected, which means that it hadn't been pulled back again. But again, I want folks to understand, I'm the acting attorney general. I'm not on the ground doing the investigation. So I'm telling you what I've been told, and we'll, if that information changes, I'm sure that we'll let you know.
How many people here have a Maverick 88 and a 1911?
Yes.
No.
I also have a Maverick 88, and I have the exact guns.
His was in 38 Super.
And this is what
fair
brings
enough.
credence to just like the delusion of this dude or something else, because you had the manifesto come out and he was talking about killing everybody in the room, which would have been like 2,600 people with a shotgun and 2 handguns and some knives. It's like, really, bro?
Well, you have to be delusional to think that Trump is like literally Hitler, and then see with your own fucking eyeballs that you're allowed to protest against Trump. Like if he was literally Hitler, you would be locked up in the fucking gulag.
Well, that's cognitive dissonance, right? That would be like, oh, we're fighting against the king who's letting us protest. Don't think about it.
What I think is very sad about the situation is there was one of the media reporters after the fact talking about how they were going from the dinner to the White House for the press briefing or whatever then, and how there was 3 young teenage girls out there basically giggling and laughing about Trump's almost assassination.
Yeah,
it just
well,
shows
again,
like how it just shows Gen Z
reference
is so
Charlie
fucked.
Kirk getting fucking murdered. Do you guys not remember this? Less than a year ago, when tens of thousands of fucking leftists jumped up, cheering, celebrating, fucking high-fiving, going to fucking like Charlie Kirk memorials and starting shit with people and doing all the things that they fucking did. Do you guys not remember?
Yeah, I remember.
These people are still here. Their feelings haven't changed. In fact, I would say a lot of them are doubling down on those feelings, saying how right they are about how Trump's actually a fascist because they think that they know that he's a rapist. Like, oh, did you know that he got convicted of rape? Well, now I have to explain. Like, I'm not here to re-educate you fucking retards about how the justice system works and what an actual criminal charge is versus being held criminally liable in civil court, right? If you're too dumb to understand that, the fucking 33 fucking felonies that Trump had are 100% bullshit and why, it's not my job to fucking teach you about it. You need to fucking do the goddamn research yourself and tell me why the 30 fucking charges against Trump are 100% erroneous, bullshit, unprecedented, and will never happen to anyone else again. Anyway.
On a lighter note, did you see the picture that I sent you on your phone? I didn't know if you were able to pull that up, but it's a hilarious picture.
No, my phone's dead.
Okay.
Sorry. Send it to me in Discord.
Okay, I'll try. Know me.
What's even crazier, going back to financial situation in this country right now, is how many Gen Z era kids are now putting food on various buy now, pay later things.
And they're door dashing it and shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys see federal grand jury has indicted former FBI director James Comey over controversial Instagram post last year? He's facing 20 years in federal prison.
Good.
And he's indicted, which means the grand jury looked at the evidence and said yes.
I do want to point out one thing with the SPLC stuff, is that it was a bunch of black supremacists funding white supremacy.
Yeah, so they'd have stuff to fundraise against, allegedly.
11 world wars, baby.
Fuck yeah.
11 world wars. Well, I mean, that was the whole point of the SPLC fucking like bullshit in the first place, right? Was they were using the imagery created by the funding that they gave to the leaders of the KKK and other things when they would show up to a march, right? So like they fund the march. They're like, here's $100,000, Grand Dragon. Would you please come to Louisiana and do a march? And then he's like, $100,000? You got it. And so he shows up and does a march. And they show up with cameras and they show all of these racist, super masochist, supremacists, and all of the other ists that they are, and isms and fucking phobias and all the other things that they say about us, right? And they say, oh, look at these hidden tiki torches. How bad is that? Give us money. So they give the guy $100,000, which is a lot of money, but then they raise $10 million. Weird.
People are alleging that Nick Fuentes has been being paid off by the SPLC basically the whole time. And I don't know about today, but he hasn't been seen or heard from pretty much since the SPLC thing came out.
That would actually make sense.
Who has been saying, hold on real quick, who has been saying since I don't know how long that Fuentes is a fucking glowy fucking, like, he is not genuine? I have. Every step of the way, I'm like, don't listen to this guy. He is controlled opposition. He is the voice of the enemy trying to trick us to be against ourselves by fomenting hatred against Jews and all of the other things that he fucking did that makes our side look like actual Nazis. Oh, that's weird. That 100% makes sense. And if that comes out, and if that is true, vindication number 5,000 for this channel, dude. How many things have I called correctly? That's insane.
At least two.
At least two.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we've been going for an hour and 48 minutes now, which is a bit longer than we normally go for the Gay Frog Chat. It's 10 o'clock at night here. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but it's time to fucking shut this thing down. I do appreciate everyone for being here, though, for the Gay Frog Chat. Another weekly installment. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw, I've started a new YouTube channel. Let me pull this up real quick before we go and do a little self-plug.
Phrasing.
Switch account. So I made a new YouTube channel called E-Honda Unchained as a experiment, I guess, to see if I can overcome the YouTube algorithm. I won't be doing any live streaming on this channel. I don't think it'll just be for videos. But if you guys would like, please go over to the new channel and check it out. I have 2 videos posted over there so far. If you do click on one of the videos, please do not just click on it and then give it a thumbs up and then go away, because the algorithm sees that as someone hopping in for 5 seconds and then not watching the video. Therefore, it's not a good video. Watch at least 10 minutes or watch the whole video. The other one's like a minute long. If you do, that's all I'm going to say. Because if you watch less than that, it hurts the algorithm and then it thinks that I'm a piece of shit. And that's the whole point of making the new channel, was to like defeat the algorithm. So help me out, guys. Go over there, give it a sub, watch one of the videos, stay for more than a couple of minutes. And I appreciate your help.
Help on to defeat the algorithm.
Daniel says, I like Fuentes. I'll eat crow if you're right. Dude, I think I'm right. I think 100% he's been receiving money to, or at least, and the way I looked at it was like, why is this white supremacist so popular on YouTube that hates white supremacists? That's weird. It's almost like YouTube is giving him a pass and pushing his stuff forward so that more people see it, versus other people that they might not like as much will get shadow banned and you will never see it.
I don't think he's on YouTube. I think he's on Rumble.
Yeah, it was never really YouTube. It was always Rumble.
He's on other places too, I think.
Yeah. The reason why it's on YouTube because people would take his Rumble videos and repost them on YouTube in segments.
Well, fair enough. And that shows how much I know about him because I don't watch his shit. But every time I do, I'm like, God fucking damn it, dude. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Deuces, y'all. Shout out P and Fridge. Trooper to Shabanaba to pressure Batacath care. Prec the troops. 2 words made in America. And we'll see y'all next time. Deuces.
Later.
11 World Wars.
11.